Hello everyone, my name is Mohammad Yunus and I have 15 years of experience in fire and life safety systems, and I work as a fire life safety consultant. I hold many certificates like CFPS, CFI2, CFI1, and I hold many membership like MI Fire, PM, SFP. So today I am NFP assigned me the topic to teach CFPS module number 3, safety in the build environment. So I will deliver this training today. So let's start CFPS training. So the topic is challenge to the safety in the build environment. So what is the safety challenge in the build environment? The built environment is the collection of human made building, infrastructure, system and space in which people live and work. Safety is a challenge by multiple hazard, challenge technologies, changing technologies and a complex occupancy, human behavior, aging infrastructure, climate change, unequal enforcement and the interaction of the system, and were often designated separately. So this is a very complex challenge in the safety in the built environment. A peril of the event. What is the meaning of peril? Peril means the serious and immediate effect. Is the event of the condition capable for causing harm. Fire is the central perils of the fire protection handbook, but the built environment is also exposed to explosion, hazardous material release, structure failure, natural hazards, utility failure, hostile events, and combination of these type of factor. Harm can include death, injury, property damage, interruption of essential services, and environmental damage, cultural loss, and economic disruption. Why build environment safety is very difficult? Why? What is the type of factor? There is many factor in this, like building change their behavior, their service life, tenant, storage arrangement they change, interior finish they change, process, occupant load. When the building is designed for 500 occupant load factor for example, but they change the occupant load factor, may no longer the match the occupant load, interior finish are no longer match the original design assumption. There is another factor for the new product and technology may enter is very fast. Even the code cannot be released their update, and we adopt the technology and product. And another factor is that the building is the system of system. Building has a system of system like structure, compartmentation, alarm, sprinkler, smoke control system, power, elevator. Many type of system work together. So this is a system of system in the building. The risk of distributed eventually age, mobility, sincerity and language, familiarization, and dependent on the staff on call to increase vulnerability. So this is the also a factor. 8 code compliance design can lose the effectiveness throughout the poor installation, poor maintenance, missing inspection, testing, unauthorized changes, impairment system and work enforcement. The extreme weather and wildfire, urban interface exposure may challenge water supply, access, combination, evacuation route and emergency response capacity. So these are the factors in the built environment of the safety. What is fire? What is fire? The fire is a combination of a fuel, ignition, oxidizer and heat and chain reaction. It is a tetrahedral process. The fuel is like solid, liquid or gaseous material. The oxidizer is like unusually oxygen is in the air. Heat is like energy sufficient to indicate combustion or oxidization or fuel vaporization. Chain reaction is for all this self sustainable chemical reaction within the flame zone. So fire will occur in this case. So the fire is the started with the component fire development like ignition, then growth, then flashover, and then and decay. So this is the process of fire starting from first to last decay. So the another topic is type of building construction such as modular. In the modular buildings, a type construction, that there is a type of construction classification described in the expected fire performance of a building principal structure element. NFPA 220 group contribution into type 1 to type 5 according to the combustibility and fire resistance rating of the structural frame. So there is 5 type of construction type: 1, 2, 3rd, 4th and 5th type of construction. This is based on NFPA 220. In type 1 construction, these structural elements are non-combustible or limited combustible and have the highest prescribed the fire resistance rating in the type 1 construction. Type 2 construction are same like non-combustible or limited combustible, but generally lower fire resistance rating as compared to construction number first. In type 3 construction, the wall and non-combustible or limited combustible interior structure may be material permitted by this code. Type 4 construction, in type 4 construction as per NFPA 220, heavy timber or mass timber construction satisfy minimum dimension and other requirement, exterior wall and other typical non-combustible or limited combustible requirement. In type 5 construction, structural element may be any permitted material, commonly wood frame construction, combustible framing and concealed cavities can permitted. Rapid spared protection rely heavily on the compartmentation. So this type of construction we use in NFPA as per NFPA 220. The next topic is modular construction. In modular construction, modular construction is off-site construction method in which component, panel, service, assembly or three-dimensional modules are manufactured in the control facility, transported to the site and assembled into the complete building. It is a range of a prefabricated bathroom, pod, MEP assembly and module forming most of the building. So it is a prefabricated building and assemble in outdoor of the construction site. So what is the benefit and safety challenge? What is the benefit and safety challenge are there in the modular construction? This is the factory production and repeated work, control environment and potential quality environment. Inspector may not be see the concealed work after this module are closed. Inspector cannot see the concealed work. Quality control records and third party inspection are very important, most important. Interface in this type of modulars construction are rapid site assembly. So joint between modules can interrupt rated walls, floor, fire stopping, smoke barrier, exterior wall protection and continuity of the cavity. MEP integration in the modular construction is service can be pre-installed, so because it is fabricated outdoor. So field connection, penetration, alarm, sprinkler, damper and control must from one controlled building wide system. Transportation of this modular and lifting are efficient if there is a benefit. What is the benefit is the for the transportation and benefit and transportation of the modular control building, it is a efficient installed. And what is the concern here? The movement can damage the protective membranes, fire stopping, piping, wiring and listed assembly. This is the problem here. And other is construction phase. What is the benefit? Shorter site schedule, it can be fabricated in very short time. And what is the concern here? The module can contain high combustible loading before permanent alarm, sprinkler and department access and water supply are operational. The complete assembly of this modular construction must comply with the code of this building location, even the module were fabricated in another jurisdiction, not in Saudi Arabia, may be fabricated in Dubai. And label and approval do not remove and need to verify the connection and performance of the assembled building. The third point is that rated assembly should be tested, listed, design. Undocumented field changes should be verified. Independent inspection responsibility must be clearly assigned among the fabricated jurisdiction by the AHJ, third party agency, designer, contractor. All should be checked the inspection, testing, installation of this modular construction. So these are the safety challenge here. Our next topic is occupancy classification. Occupancy classification. Any building is classified in many types of occupancy, like occupancy challenge group are a building or a space according to the how it will be used, how it will be, number of occupant are there, their familiarization, their evacuation method, whether sleep in this occupancy are restricted, nature and quality of the hazard present in the occupancy classification determine may life safety and fire protection requirement are different in different type of occupancy. Occupancy are divided in many type, like assembly, business, mercantile, storage. There is many type storage, healthcare, detention center, industrial, storage, educational. So what is assembly occupancy? Assembly occupancy typically example like theater, restaurant, meeting hall, because more than 50 people are assembled in one place, so it is called assembly. What the life safety consideration in the assembly occupancy, high occupant density are there, unfamiliarized occupant is there, because the occupant come from different type of location, the crowd movement and exit distribution are very important in assembly type of occupancy. Business type of occupancy example like office, like professional services are there. The difficulties and consideration life safety is like generally awake and mobile occupant, challenge layout, mixed use. The education in educational occupancy example are school and care of young children. The challenge are here supervision, age, drill and rapid accountability. Healthcare occupancy like hospital and certain treatment facility. The life safety concern are there, patient may be incapable or self preservation depend on the place, and staff response are very critical and central. In residential occupancy like dwelling unit, apartment, hotel. So in this life safety concern are sleeping occupant have delayed detection and response. in mercantile occupancy example is like retail store, sales area. So life safety concern in this type of mercantile occupancy is public are unfamiliarized merchandise arrangement and seasonal occupant load change every time. In storage occupancy like warehouse and storage facility, the life safety challenge are commodity packaging, storage handling, storage height, fire growth determination, protection need, what type of protection need. The classification procedure for this type of assembly is like, first you have to determine the actual and intended function of every space, not merely the building name. The second step is to identify occupant number, age, mobility, alternation, familiarization, supervision, sleeping. And third step is to identify the process, fuel package, hazard material are present or not. The next step is compare and fact with the occupancy definition in the adopted code. And what is the thresholded limit are there. So this type of factor we have to determine before considering this is assembly, this is business, this is storage, this is mercantile, this is hospital. So this type of example of the occupancy classification. Our next topic is compartmentation. Compartmentation, what is the concept and application? Compartmentation, what is this? What compartmentation do? What compartmentation divide the building with fire and smoke resisting construction so that fire, heat and smoke are confined for a specific time and it cannot move from one location to another location. The purpose of this limit to is limit the fire spread, smoke movement, maintain tenable area, route, protect occupant who cannot be evacuated immediately, reduce structural exposure and firefighting operation. The main component of the fire compartmentation is like firewall, fire barrier, smoke barrier, and horizontal assembly, opening protective and fire stop system and joint system. So we have to check all these component in the compartmentation. The like firewall is create fire separation, may divided the building into separated structure where the code is permitted. And fire barrier and smoke barrier is doing separate occupancy, exit, shaft, hazardous area. Fire stop system restore the protection where service penetration rated construction is required. Compartmentation is only an effective as it weakness unprotected opening. A fire rated wall with unsealed cable penetration is non-closing door, is unprotected duct. A pathway is not delivered to the intended performance when there is a penetration. Inspection must be therefore follow the complete boundary including above ceiling and concealed space. So the compartmentation is very important in any type of occupancy. It divided the area into the parts. Active and passive system must be coordinate. Sprinkler can control the heat release and reduce the exposure, while compartmentation do the strict of the smoke movement and heat spared. So that's why the compartmentation is very important. Our next topic is application of fire protection features. Application of fire protection features. The fire protection features are selected as a coordinated package to meet life safety, property protection, continuity and emergency response objective. This can be preventive, this can be passive, this can be active or managerial. features. The preventive, what is the meaning of preventive? Preventive: control the ignition source, housekeeping, control work, safe storage. The primary purpose of the prevention to reduce the likelihood of the fire. Detection and alarm system: detector, manual station, control unit, occupant notification, or emergency communication system. What they are doing, the purpose of this is to discover the event, communication information, and initiate the control. The passive protection, what is this? What is the example of the passive protection? Fire resistance rated door, structure barrier, smoke barrier, door damper are the example of the fire passive protection. It, what the benefit is this? It limit the smoke and fire spread and maintain the structural and egress performance. Means of egress is very important. Means of egress: exit, stair, door, illumination, marking, accessibility, refuse, relocation are the example of means of egress. Is the very important part of the life safety system. What is the purpose of this? To allow occupant to reach the place relative and ultimate safety. It allow to the assembly point or the safe area from the building where we have a any emergency. Emergency response: emergency response example is like access road, hydrant, fire command center, elevator for emergency operation. This is the example of the emergency response. The purpose of this: to enable organized response and firefighting operation. The management: the training, drill, impairment procedure, emergency plan, inspection, testing, maintenance are the example of management. The purpose of this: preserve protection throughout the building life cycle. The performance over the life cycle: the feature must be appropriate for the hazard, correctly designed, listed where required, installation as per the design, acceptable to the AHJ authority, inspected and tested, maintained and re-evaluate when condition change, and reliability is also there. So these are the fire protection system. So our next topic is code and standard. Code and standards. What is the meaning of code and standard development? A code is a coordinate set of provisions suitable for adoption of the adoption and enforcement, and standard stabilize the requirement of the procedure and material, product, system, method of practice. Both are generally voluntary until adopted by the government authority. The roles of the authority here in the code and standard adoption is there, like standard development organization, maintaining the transportation balance and consequences based process, developing technical documentation, technical committee develop the boards and technical contents, designer and engineers apply the adopted requirement, documentation, adoption and coordinate system. Owner, contractor and maintenance contractor implement, operate and preserve require protection throughout the life cycle. So this is under the code and standard, and the roles of the committee, the designer, the owner. Next our next topic is principle of human behavior. Principle of human behavior in fire cases. In fire cases, the detailed study have established that instances of non-adapted or panic style behavior are rare, occurring only under specific conditions. So important role is like the person and the protective thread, the type and means of egress, the type of action by other. The panic is not the normal response of the fire. Research generally find purposefully, socially influenced and role based behavior. Pupil interrupt cause, seek information, contact other, familiarize and with the property. The process can create daily delay even when the movement itself physically possible. The factor influenced in this behavior of human is like person role. Staff, parents, teacher, healthcare worker and security personnel may first perform role related to their duty. And the type of means of egress: familiarization, visibility, signage, door width, door operation, route, complexity, configurations and accessibility is very important in the means of egress. Action by others is very important. Pupil look to other to confirmation, follow up, group maintain social bond and may help voluntary person. So this type of human behavior, the mainly principle in the fire. Recognition of and pre-movement occupant response is better represent as a sequence. Pre-movement time include recognition and response activity before the purposefully travel begin. It dominate the total evacuation time. There is many factor like use clear and credible and intelligence warning message. The provide the training to the staff and define the responsibility by either design for familiar route, accountability of the occupant who sleep, assistant and familiarization of the building, avoid repeated nonsense alarm which can reduce the credibility and delay response. So these are the human factor in the fire. Now our next topic is egress design. Egress design and predictive calculation. The egress design is provided a continuous, recognized and protected path from the occupied location to safety. Predictive calculation estimation how long occupant need to recognize the emergency, begin responding movement through the available egress system. The required and available egress time is based on always available safe egress time is greater than the required safe egress time. Always remember this. Available safe egress time is always greater than the required safe egress time. So available safe egress time from ignition until condition along the egress route become untenable. What is RSET? Required safe egress time occupant need to be reach the definition place of the place. Safety margin difference between ASET and RSET. So this is the egress design factor. The next is basic movement relationship is the very important. And this design check is the very important factor. Determine the occupant load and occupant characteristic. Identify the available exit and credibility of the exit. Check number of the occupant. Check arrangement, continuity and discharge of the exit. Check door, corridor, stair. Evaluate travel distance. Include detection notification system. Compare RSET and ASET to relevant fire scenario. Test sensitivity of the blocked exit system impairment. So these are the factor in the egress design you have to verify. Our next topic is life safety for different occupant. Life safety for different occupancy classification. So life safety is the occupancy because the same fire can affect different population very differently. The protection strategy may reflect alteration, mobility, supervision, familiarization, density, security, process of the hazard. The occupancy characteristics: awake, familiarization, mobile, occupant. The safety strategy is to promote detection, notification, adequate exit, maintain routes are the important factor in the life safety for the different occupancy classification. Sleeping occupant, early automatic detection, audible labels are important, and familiarization of the public and high density area, simple wayfinding, distribute exit in different type, crowd management is important, occupant incapable for self preservation, define in place, smoke compartmentation, horizontal relocation, restriction and secured occupant, storage and warehouse protection, match the commodity and configuration, control vertical and horizontal fire spread. So these are the feature. Now our next topic is fire protection in special occupancy. Fire protection in special occupancy. Fire protection in special occupancy, like in high-rise building. In high-rise building, occupied floor beyond the practical reach to the normal exterior firefighting operation. The vertical travel, stack effect, delay fire department access, reliance on the elevator, building system, and larger number of occupants are a coordination with the coordinate strategy. The automatic sprinkler system, standpipe system, protected separated stair, fire command center, emergency standby power, compartmentation, phase evacuation, relocation are the many important factor in the high rise building. In the institutional building, institutional facility include setting where occupant may be incapable for self preservation, receive medical care and restraint. The central assumption of the immediate total evacuation may be different in the institutional occupancy. In the institutional occupancy, in hazardous material operation, in hazardous material protection, begin with the identify each material, a physical and health hazard, maximum quantity, storage condition, possible interaction. So use always safety data sheet, process information, consider pressure, temperature, reactivity, toxicity, crossability, instability, provide secondary contamination and drainage, ventilation, gas vapor detection, separate incompatible material and protect control area of the hazard occupancy as required. In warehouse and storage operation, in storage, fire can grow very rapidly, and because of the commodity are arranged in vertical side, flame can develop in flue spaces, and packaging can contribute large quantity of combustible plastic. So always classify the commodity, identify storage method and geometry, determine storage height, select ceiling where required, in rack sprinkler, maintain clearance between the sprinkler and the required space, control pallet, aerosol, ignitional liquid, and reevaluate protection whenever the commodity or storage configuration are changed. So these are the challenge in the different type of occupancy in fire protection system. Next topic is our next topic is NFPA code, NFPA fire and life ecosystem. The ecosystem is a framework showing that the fire and life safety depend on 8 independent components. These 8 independent components are governing government responsibility. What is the government responsibility? The authority stabilize policy, adopt requirement, fund administration and emergency services, development and use of current code, reinforcement standard, investment in the safety, skilled workforce, code compliance is very important, preparedness and